This is looking like a beautiful pour over here. Now I'm gonna be brewing this with a V60 today. This is a pour over method. This is my favorite method. It is a little bit tricky. This is like cooking with a saute pan, where using a coffee pot like this is like having a microwave. With this, it's kind of set it and forget it. With this, you have so much control of all the different variables. With specialty coffee, it's so much more delicate. It's so much less you're tasting the roast and more you're actually tasting the bean, the varietal, the terroir, all of that stuff. That when you're drinking specialty coffee, I really recommend you rinse your filter first. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you guys basically my standard pour over recipe. We have 18 grams of ground coffee in here. This is ground to a medium coarse grind. And because this is a medium roasted coffee, that means we're going to do a medium coarse grind. I like to change my grind based on the roast level. So medium coarse grind on this. I have my kettle, which I have set to 89 degrees Celsius. If you're looking for Fahrenheit on that, we are at 192 degrees Fahrenheit. So because this is a medium roasted coffee, we kind of want to be in the middle on everything. Our temperature water is kind of in the middle of our range between like 86 to 97 degrees Celsius. Our grind size is in the middle. So we're trying to just have an even extraction on this. We're not trying to enhance extraction or reduce extraction. This is a beautiful coffee. It's very easy to brew and it's very approachable. The first pour that I'm going to do is called the pre-infusion or the bloom. So I'm going to start my timer and I'm going to start by pouring straight into the middle of the coffee bed and working my way to the outside. I'm going to be pouring 50 grams of water right now, trying to wet all of the coffee grounds evenly. You can see here I've poured 50 grams, we're at 20 seconds, and if you see all this bubbling here, that's called degassing. That's all the CO2 that's leaving the coffee grounds, and that's really important because if we don't do that, it's going to make our coffee very bitter. So we're going to be pouring in 30-second intervals, so those 30 seconds are up, and after that 50 gram pour or 50 milliliter pour, I'm pouring 100 grams of water for a total of 150 grams. With a pour over, what you're always trying to do, what you should try and think of is, I want to wet all of the coffee grounds evenly. I want to pass the water over all of those coffee grounds evenly, so I'm getting an even extraction. Now we're at 1 minute on the timer, so we had 50 grams on the first pour, 100 grams on the second. Now I'm going to go down to 40 grams. I'm going to start on the outside and work my way in. Everything that I'm trying to do is just to end this brew. When I'm done, I want that bed to be totally flat. I don't want it to look like this. I don't want it to look like this. I don't want random spots in the middle. I want it totally flat. So now that I've done a 40 gram pour and I've waited another 30 seconds, I'm going to pour another 40 grams. This is going to bring me to a total of 230 grams on my scale. You can see here we're at 1 minute and 45 seconds with 230 grams. Our bed's looking great. It's even. We don't have all grounds all caked up on the side. This is looking like a beautiful pour over here. I'm going to wait until my timer hits the 2 minute mark and then I'm going to pour another 40 grams for a total of 270 grams. So if you're wondering about ratio, if you're a big coffee nerd out there, this is a 15-to-1 ratio. Everything that we're going to be doing is a 15-to-1 ratio. If you're wondering, hey, what the heck is that? What's a 15-to-1 ratio? That means for every gram of coffee, we're doing 15 grams of water. So we have 18 grams of coffee and 270 grams of water. That's going to be our recipe. So we're just coming to an end here. You can see we're at 2 minutes and 57 seconds. 3 minutes, right around the 3 minute mark is perfect. When we're seeing a pour over like this, that means that our recipe is good, our grind size is good. If this was around 3 minutes and 30 seconds and I still had liquid in here, then that would mean that our grind is too fine. And if all the water drained out in like 2 minutes and 20 seconds, 2 minutes and 30 seconds, that would mean that our grind is too coarse. With a 15-to-1 ratio using 18 grams of coffee, I try to target right around the 3 minute mark. With some coffees, it does better around 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and with others, it does better around 2 minutes and 45 seconds. But a lot of that has to do with you, your palate, your taste, and what you like. But now our pour over is done. Now what I recommend is you take a sip when it's hot, when it's finished, like right now, and then you keep sipping it as it gets to the warm stage and then as it gets cool. With specialty coffee like this, it improves as it cools down, and the tasting notes change. Things might change from lemon to cherry to grapefruit. With this one, now you're not going to get any of that. This is a very chocolatey coffee. Like, if you want to know what chocolate tastes like in coffee, drink this. You'll get dark chocolate right away. It's creamy, it's smooth. It's also nutty. If you ever had hazelnuts before, after like 2 or 3 seconds, you'll notice it in the back of your palate. Just like if you've ever chewed on a hazelnut or roasted nuts before, maybe even think of almonds, you'll pick that up in there. And then you'll just kind of still think about it as you wait. And we're at 10 seconds after taking a sip, and my mouth is so creamy and it's coating, and it feels like after you just eat a piece of chocolate and you like have your whole palate covered in chocolate. You're getting that with this coffee. This is just such a great introduction coffee. This comes from a legendary farm. This comes from a legendary family, the Garrido family here in Panama. It's truly a special coffee from really special people. The really interesting thing about Panamanian coffees is they are such a tiny producer. I think they're number 52 or 53 in the world in production. So the amount of highlands here in Panama is so small, and that's because Panama is such a small country in general. So what a lot of the producers here do is they go for quality. Panama's known for having the best coffee in the world, hands down. They win all the competitions, they win all the auctions, and that's what a lot of the farmers here have done, is dedicated themselves to quality. This is in their traditionals category, and the varietal of this coffee is Typica. It's one of the most common and popular varieties that you'll find in this part of the world, but what the Garrido family does that really sets them apart is their processing. Processing means the way that they mill the coffee, the way that they dry it, the way that they do everything. They do an incredible job. Their beans are so beautiful and perfect. They take all of the Quakers out, which means any beans that have bugs inside or rotten beans or anything like that. And that's what makes this cup and makes this coffee truly special. This is coffee that is made with heart and with love. And that's why this is our house blend.